Om. In the 15th chapter of UpadeshaSahasri, which is Nānyadanyat Prakaraṅam, we have seen in the first three shlokas that Atma, which is ever pure and ever free by its own nature, through sadhana, we need not make it free. So, sadhana is to understand that essentially I am not ahankara, but I am Atma, which is ever liberated. And therefore, I just have to claim that as my nature through proper Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Now, before we proceed to further shlokas, I will just give a brief breakup of the chapter's shlokas. So, first three shlokas talked about this refutation of the idea of ahankara becoming Brahma or something becoming something else. That was first three shlokas. Shloka number 4, 5 and 6, they talk about Atma being the Sakshi, witness or Drsta, different from Drshya. Shloka 7 to 18, they talk about that for a person who has done Vedanta Shravanam, his main sadhana is to renounce the activity and remember the knowledge. So the topic from 7 to 18 is renunciation of action and remembrance of knowledge of the self. Shlokas 19 to 21, they talk about the viveka for mumukshu, for abidance in the self. Viveka means Atma Anatma Viveka for abidance in the self. From shloka 22 to 35, this is the main chunk of the chapter. It talks about the avastha traya viveka, jagrat swapna shushupti avastha and Atma being their witness. Shloka 36 to 39 again talks about what should a serious mumukshu, serious seeker of liberation do. And shloka 40 to 54, this is another big chunk, 15 shlokas here, 40 to 54, it talks about Atma as self-luminous and it never becomes an object of knowledge. So, Atma as self-luminous and not an object of knowledge. This is 40 to 54. So, in this way, 54 shlokas are covered here in this chapter. Now, we go to shloka number 4. Now, the shloka number 4 begins with a Purva Paksha kind of. And what is that? You know that there are 6 different schools of philosophy in Astika Darshana and 6 different schools of philosophy in Nastika Darshana. The 6 schools of philosophies in Nastika Darshana are covered as one school of Buddhism, one school of materialism, Charvak, one school of Jainism, and 4 schools of Buddhism. Sometimes these 4 are combined in one, so then there will be only 3 Nastika Darshanas, those who do not believe in Vedas as the authority, as the Pramanam. Whereas the 6 schools of philosophy are Sankhya Yoga, Nyaya Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa, and they all accept Vedas as the Pramanam. In these, the Purva Mimamsa Darshana, there are 2 major darshanas. One is Prabhakara Mimamsakas and another is Bhatta Mimamsaka. Prabhakara Mimamsaka and Bhatta Mimamsaka. Now these Bhatta Mimamsakas, the followers of Kumarila Bhatta, they say that Atma is Drsta also and Drshya also. Their idea is that Atma is Prakasha, Aprakasha, rupa. It is jada also and it is Chaitanya also. The jada part becomes Drshya, the Chaitanya part becomes Drashta. Somebody may ask, how is this possible? They have an example. What is the example? Example is of a glowworm. A glowworm is shining, but part of it is dark. So it has the shining part and the non-shining part. So they say Atma is also exactly like glowworm. Means it is not a glowworm. It is only Prakasha, Aprakasha, rupa. What is their yukti? Their yukti is that in Sushupti, in deep sleep, we have the notion that I did not know anything. Sukham aham aswapsam na kinchid avedisham. Lung lakar. So I did not know anything. So when we say that, when we wake up and we make this statement, we make this statement only on the basis of knowledge. Because if we don't know that I did not experience, then I can't make a statement. So because of the fact that I was there present in Sushupti to know the ignorance, therefore I am combination of knowledge and ignorance. I will repeat that statement. In deep sleep, I was there to know the absence of all experiences. In other words, I was there as knowledge, and absence of all experiences is ignorance. So, my nature is Atma as knowledge and also as ignorance. So, Chaitanya and Jada. So, Prakasha, Aprakasha, Rupa. And therefore, they say Atma is Drashta also and Drshya also. And therefore, what we said earlier in the third shloka and second shloka, that Antakarana alone is the canvas on which the objects of experience are projected, And just as external world is drishya, antakarana with the projected objects is also drishya. This statement they have objection. They say that the Atma is not only drashta but is also drishya. And therefore, the drishya is also within Atma, which I experience, and then I say, I recollect, I remember, if it is a memory. So, on this, now there is the next shloka. Drashtuschanyad bhaved drishyam drishyatvad ghatavat sada drishya drashta sajatiyo nadhivat sakshitanyatha. So in this shloka, they are doing one anumana in the first line. The first two quarters are anumana vakya. What is that? Drashtuhu drishyam cha anyad bhavet. First, just understand the word for word meaning. Drishyam, what is experienced, is drashtuhu anyat cha bhavet. That it is different from anyat. Bhavet becomes drashtuhu, from the drashta. Drishya is different from the drashta. So this is their proposition. This is called pratignya vakya. On what basis you say, what is the reason or logic? So they say drishyatvat. This is the hetu. Drishyatvat. Because it is experienced. What is the example? Ghatavat, like a pot. So here, drishyam is the paksha. Drishyatva is the paksha actually. Drishyatva. Drishyam is said in the shloka. So drishyatva. Drishya will have drishyatva. Like ghata will have ghatatva. Pushpa will have pushpatva. So drishya will have drishyatva. That will become paksha. What will be the sadhya? Sadhya will be different from drashta. In English. In Sanskrit, the sadhya will become drashtuhu bhinnam. Drashtuhu bhinnatvam. Drashtuhu bhinnatvam will be the sadhya. So drishya is different from drashta. This is the proposition. This is called pratignya vakya. Drishya is different from drashta. Why? Because it is drishya. Drishya has drishyatva, like a pot. Ghatavat. So this is our answer to those bhattas. What we are saying is that a drishya is different from drashta. So one thing cannot be drishya also and drashta also. And you cannot say that one part is drishya and one part is drashta, because in Atma there are no parts. That which has parts, you may try to say that one part is drashta and another part is drishya. Like my eyes within my body see my hands or legs within my body. So there is swagata bheda in the body. So one part becomes drashta, another part becomes Drshya. But really speaking, this kind of Bheda is also not accurate, because what is experiencing the hands or legs is not the eyes, but is the organ, which is not Drshya. So there also Drshya is Drshya and Drshta is Drshta. There cannot be any change of the fundamental identity. Because when we say eyes, what we mean is that ability to see which lies in the subtle body, not the physical aperture which is there in the gross body. So the first part of the shloka, the first line is Drishyam is different from Drashta. Drishyatvat Ghatavat. What is experienced is always different from the experiencer. Because what is experienced has Drishyatva, like pot. Pot is always an object of an experience. If I sit for 1 hour in front of pot and think that for first half hour I am watching pot and for next half hour pot is watching me. So pot, which is Drishya, it will never become Drashta. That's why it is said Sada, always. Pot will be always Drishya. In that way, mind, now we come back to our main topic, mind, which is an object of experience, it will always remain an object and it will not become the subject. And Atma is ever the subject and it will never become the object. What is the corollary of this statement? Corollary of this statement is that if somebody thinks that I as the mind or ahankara, I am going to make an attempt to experience Atma. So then I will become, I means the ahankara will become the subject and Atma will become the object. So this shloka says it will never happen. Means you will never be able to experience Atma as an object through one single experience. On the other hand, what we say is that every time when you experience any object, you remember that the one which is illumining this experience, that witness which tells me that this experience has taken place, that witness is present in all experiences. Bodham bodham pratividitam, pratibodha viditam matam. In Kenopanishad it is said. So, not a single experience of Atma, but all experiences of the world leading to the fact that Atma is illumining all experiences and no experience is possible without Atma. This is the understanding we should get. This is the corollary. The second line of the shloka says, Drishyat Drshta Sajatiyo. So in that line, Drashta Asajatiyo. This is how you have to split the words. Drishyat Drashta Asajatiyo. In other words, Drashta is not Sajatiya of Drishya. So Drishya is Anatma, Jada. Therefore, Drashta is not of the similar kind. Therefore, Drashta is Vijatiya to Drshya. So, if Drshya is Anatma, Drashta is not Anatma. Means it is Atma. If Drshya is Jada, Drashta is Chetana. If Drshya is Vikari, subject to modifications, then Drashta is Avikari. If Drshya is subject to destruction, Vinasha, then Drashta is Avinashi. If Drshya is Sasanga, gets contaminated, polluted, affected by things around, Drashta is Asanga, unaffected, unpolluted, undisturbed by what is around. So, Drshya Drashta Asajatiya. And how is this Drashta? Example is given, Nadhivat, unlike Buddhi. So, you can do Pratignya Hetu here in second line also. Drashta Drishyat Asajatiyah. Paksha will be Drashta. Sadhya will be Drishyat Asajatiyah. Vyatireki Drishtanta is given. Unlike Buddhi, unlike intellect. So, Buddhi is Drishya. Drashta is unlike intellect. So, Paksha is given, Sadhya is given, Drashtanta is given. That is enough to do the Anumanam. In our Vedanta, let me complete this, then I will tell. Anyatha, otherwise, if Drashta and Drshya, if they were Sajatiya, then what would happen? In other words, if you do not accept that Drashta and Drshya are asajatiya, if you do not accept that Drashta and Drshya are asajatiya, means if Drashta and Drshya are sajatiya, then Sakshitva or Sakshi also will be like Buddhi. So Sakshi will become Vikari, subject to modification. Sakshi will become subject to destruction. Sakshi will need another Sakshi to illuminate, because Sakshi will put jada if it is like Drishya. So if Sakshi needs somebody else to illuminate, then that somebody else would be Sakshi. Now if you say that other Sakshi is also Drishya, then you need another Drashta. That will be Anavastha Dosha, defect of infinite regress. So in this way, it is established here that Drishya and Drashta have to be different. Now in this, Drishya is my own mind or this ahankara, and I have to be different from this ahankara and of different nature also. I as Sakshi. So if ahankara has bhaya, so I should understand that this fear is in ahankara, which is anatma, I don't have. Bhaya, shoka, moha, these are the main things. All the problems are in the form of shoka, grief of what has already happened in the past, delusion of present. I am confused about my present, and I am afraid of future because of uncertainties. What will happen? What will happen in this life? What will happen after this life? So both are indicating that there is bhaya. So all these are in ahankara, which is drishya. I am drashta, illuminator. And illuminator of the expression of fear or grief is different from that quality of that attribute of fear or grief, and also is different from the locus where this attribute expresses. Because we have to always understand, if there is any attribute that is expressing, any guna that is expressing, that guna will have a locus, guni. And both of them will be drishya. Not that attribute is drishya, but the locus of that attribute is drashta. Just as if I have a cloth and that cloth is orange. So if orange color is the object of perception, the cloth is also object of perception. I cannot experience orange color without experiencing the cloth. So both are drishya, cloth and its color, pata and pata rupam, both. Ghata and ghata rupam, pot and its form, its color, everything becomes drishya. So in the same way, buddhi and its vikaras, ahankara and its vikaras, all of them are drishya. And their abhava is also drishya, like in sushupti. Their presence in waking and dream and their absence, all of this is drishya, and I, the Shuddha Chaitanya, alone am drashta. This is one point. Now the other thing that I wanted to mention was that in our Vedanta, you may ask, why this, you are saying this is paksha and this is sadhya, proposition and something that we have to establish. So pratignya is there, paksha, sadhya, and then you have to give drishtanta, etc., give hetu. Hetu in the second line will be the same, drishyatvat, because buddhi also becomes drishya. So, it is said during Shravanam, you don't need anumanam, tarka. But in mananam, you have to use tarka so that your buddhi becomes firm and convinced that this truth cannot be anything different. So that's why there is a shloka in which the tarka aspect is also mentioned during mananam. What is said is that these are the three limbs of adhyanam. What are they? It is said, Shrotavyaha Shrutivakyebhyo Mantavyaschopapattibhihi मत्वा च सततं ध्येय एते दर्शन हेतवः. आत्मा श्रुति वाक्येभ्यः श्रोतव्य. आत्मा should be listened to from Upanishadic statements and Vedantic Prakaraṅam granthas which have same subject matter as Shruti Vakya. Then using the Upapatti means using the logical arguments, Mananam should be done. So that is the Tarka. And Matvacha Satatam Dhyeya. Having done Mananam, there should be constant remembrance of this, that I am the supreme reality illumining this entire universe and sustaining this entire universe as existence. Illumining the entire universe as consciousness and sustaining as existence. And other than me, there is nothing. Means really speaking, there is no creation. This is what I have understood. This has to be Satatam Dhyeya Ete Darshana Hetava. In this way only I will know the truth. So, this kind of Upapatti, Yuktya Sambhavitatvānusandhānam Mananam Tutat. In Panchadashi first chapter, it is given how you should do Mananam. Yuktya Sambhavitatvānusandhānam. Whatever I have heard from Shravanam, during Shravanam, from Acharya through Shrutis, that it is possible, and through logic, reasoning, I can establish this. That is Mananam. Mananam is not listening to pravachans 2-3 times and repeating it in front of another audience. That is becoming like a audio player. It is not a Mananam. Mananam means where you have to think and logically reason it out. Why I have to be Brahman, why Jagat has to be Mithya, etc. Okay. So, with this, fourth shloka is complete. Now, somebody has a question. They say, let Atma be Sakshi. But this Atma should have jati, like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Varna, Ashrama, Dharma. Means it belongs to a particular group of things. And based on that jati, it will have Vishesha Karma Adhikara. It will have to perform certain kind of duties. And whenever anything is subject to karma, subject to actions, then there is modification, parinama. So whenever there is karma, then there is vikara. So if Atma is having jati, then Atma will be vikari, parinami. So to that, Bhagavan Bhashyakara gives the next shloka. स्वात्मबुद्धिमपेक्ष्यासौ विधीनां स्यात् प्रयोजकः जात्यादिः शववत् तेन तद्वन्नानात्मतान्यथा। स्वात्मबुद्धिम अपेक्ष्यासौ विधीनां स्यात् प्रयोजकः जात्यादिः शववत् तेन तद्वन्नानात्मतान्यथा। असौ, this जात्यादिः, these jati etc., jati, varna and ashrama, or different abhimanas, different kind of ownerships or identifications, that is better word, identifications. Swatma buddhim apeksha. What do they expect? They expect swatma buddhi. Swatma buddhi means the abhimana, in that this is who I am. In other words, all Vedic injunctions which are given, swatma buddhim apeksha vidhinam prayojaka syat. They become prayojaka, they become the prompters. For who? For vidhi, vidhinam. Vidhi vakya means Vedic injunctions of do's and don'ts. They all are geared towards, addressed to those individuals who have identification. Identification with what? Identification with their own body first. Then, based on their body, they will have identification with their family, their kula, gotra. They will have identification with all other family members, then in society, whatever role they play, all of these. Vidhinam prayojaka syat. So wherever I have this swatma buddhi, then in jati adi etc., jati, varna, ashrama, vaya, avastha, all of them, only if there is swatma buddhi. If that kind of swatma buddhi is not there, so you have to use that na anyatha from the shloka there also. Na anyatha, not otherwise. What is the drishtanta? Drishtanta is given shavavat. Shavavat, like a dead body. So Acharya here gives the example. If there is a dead body of somebody's father or mother, or any family member, but father, mother, because for that the son has to do the ritual, samskaras, antima sanskara. Now, when will that son do the ritual? When is that son supposed to do the ritual? That's how we should ask the question. Son is supposed to do the ritual if he understands that I am their son. If he doesn't think I am their son, so many people die every day. You don't do sanskaras for everybody. So the abhimana that I am their son, this should be there. But along with that, I am their son, the abhimana will already be existing that I am this body, because only as a body I am son of so and so or daughter of so and so. So my primary abhimana is what? I am this physical person. So Vedas they address such people and they say, because you have abhimana and you want, always remember, Vedas are our friends. Vedas they are our well-wishers. Hitaishi. Sahrit they are. So if Vedas say do this karma and don't do those things, so don't start saying, who are you to tell me what I should do and what I should not do? Because there are a lot of people who have such ideas that I don't want to listen to Vedas because they interfere in my life. Those people are always going to suffer. Vedas, they know what is the right way to get Nitya Sukham. What is the right way to become free from sorrows and problems. So anything else that we try to do, we are going to get stuck. Vedas want to help us. So they will say, if you have Atma Buddhi in certain things, then in your body, in your family, etc., you do these karmas, purify your mind. Remember, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is not saying don't do Vedic karmas to everybody. Only those who have purified their minds, and not Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, Vedas themselves. See, when it is said, na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naike amritattvaman shuhu, that karma will not give you liberation. Amritattvam you don't get through karma, praja or dhana. Vedanta vijnana sunishchitarthaha sannyasa yogat yataya shuddha sattvaha. So sannyasa is mentioned. And we have seen in the first chapter itself, the second shloka, where it was said that having performed Dharagni, etc., to those people who have renounced these, Vedas are now ready to give teaching. So Vedas, in the form of Upanishad, they are giving teaching after Karma Sannyas. But before Karma Sannyas, Vedas are addressing for Chitta Shuddhi. So, tam etam vedanu vachanena brahmanaha vividishanti yajnena danena tapasa anashakena. It is said in Brahadaranyaka Upanishad. So, by yajna, dana and tapa, Vedas say you purify your mind. And Vedas have also discussed that this Shruti will produce desire to know Brahman. So both are given. Yajna, dana, tapa should be performed, then they will produce desire to know Brahman. Brahmanaha vividishanti. So that vividisha means desire to know. And desire to know what? Brahman. So the purification of mind will not only produce desire to know Brahman, that purification of mind will create time in my life to do Shravanam. Purification of my mind will bring Guru in my life. Purification of my mind will make me attentive to listen to scriptures. So only having desire to know Brahman and not do Shravanam, not have Guru, not have the attentiveness during Shravanam, then that desire to know Brahman is not going to be fulfilled. So for all of this, I need purity. And that purity will come only through Vedic karmas. So this Shruti Vakya is discussed then in Brahma Sutra in Sarvapeksha Adhikarana. And there is a sutra, Sarvapeksha cha yajnadi shrute rashvavat. In third chapter of Brahma Sutra it comes, Sarvapeksha cha yajnadi shrute rashvavat. That for, clearly listen to this, for the dawn of knowledge, there is apeksha of all. But for moksha, only knowledge is needed. For knowledge to take place, all karmas and upasanas are required. But for moksha, only jnanam is required. Drishtanta is given ashvavat. Ashvavat means like a horse. A horse is not needed for plowing the land. Horse is not needed. But horse is needed for driving the chariot. You can use it for chariot. In the same way, karma is not needed for moksha. But karma, nishkama karma, is needed for producing knowledge. Means in unprepared mind, no matter how much Shravanam is done, knowledge will not take place. In unprepared mind, no matter how much Shravanam is done, knowledge will not take place. Knowledge will not take place means that person can say, I understood, I am Brahman. That person will not benefit from this knowledge. So, this kind of instructions are there in Vedas that perform yajna dana tapa, attain proper chitta shuddhi, and then renounce the karmas. Here, in this context, so different kind of karmas are there, all are based on which abhimana you have. Because everyone need not do all karmas. There are some karmas, they are meant only for brahmanas, some are meant for kshatriyas. So Rajasuya Yajna, only Rajas will perform. And Vaishyas Stoma, only Vaishyas will perform. Similarly, in ashramas also, Brahmachari cannot perform Agnihotra, only Grahastha can perform. Then certain things have to be performed based on the stage of life, the age of life. Like if somebody is 8-year-old, then his Upanayana sanskara should be done. He should be taken to Gurukula for Adhyanam, Vedadhyanam. So like that, based on the Varna, Ashrama or the age, different kind of karmas are prescribed. Now somebody cannot say, one cannot say that, no, I don't want to do any karma because I don't believe in these things. Vedas are saying, if you think you are body, you have to do karma. So it is not whether I don't believe in this or I don't. If you have this notion that you are this physical body, all problems will be there in this body and this mind. So if you want to become free from sorrow, you have to rise above the body identification and the compulsion of future births. And that will happen only through Chitta Shuddhi, and Chitta Shuddhi will happen only through proper channel. There are no tablets available to take so that just as somebody can purify their blood or purify their physical body, internal system, like that they can purify their mind. Chitta Shuddhi is only through Vedic injunctions properly performed without any desires. So now here in this context, come back to Shloka, Shavavat, when it is said, when the understanding is that there is a dead body by itself will not prompt me to do any action. In that dead body, the identification that this belongs to my parents. And parents are there because I have the body. So if I think I am the body, then that abhimana will enjoin me, instruct me to do karma. So, Shavavat, Tena Tadvat. In the same way, this living physical body also will make me do karma based on jati, varna, ashrama, vaya, avastha, only if I have abhimana in this body. If I consider my body as a dead body, then I don't have any abhimana. Then I don't need to do any karma. So Vedas are saying, if you don't want to die and if you have desire to live for 100 years, kurvanneveha karmani jiji vishe kshatagam samaha evam tvai nanyadanyat na karma lipyate nare. Sureshwaracharya ji in Naishkarma Siddhi has explained this shloka. This is Ishavasya second mantra. He says, only na karma lipyate nare. Bhagavan Bhashyakar has also explained, if there is nara abhimana, those who have nara abhimana, and because of which they want to live for 100 years, they desire, if it is there, then they should go on performing karmas, Vedic karmas. So how long should I perform Vedic karmas or duties? As long as I have body identification. But if I drop the body identification, just like a snake drops its skin outside the anthill and does not identify with it. So then snake doesn't feel that I am that skin anymore. In the same way, a Jnani has dropped the body identification and does not need to do any karmas. The last part of the shloka says, therefore, the jati adi dharma, jati, varna, ashrama, they are not the dharmas of Atma. Tena tadvat. Tadvat means like that. Just as Shava does not have jati adi dharma, when I don't have identification with body, then I don't have jati adi dharma, because Atma doesn't have. When I identify with physical body, then body's jati adi dharma, jati, varna, ashrama, they become mine. Then I have karma. Then if I do karma, I will become karta. Then I will be vikari, subject to results, modifications, etc. Anyatha, otherwise, if jatyadi, etc., they become Atma's dharma. If they were Atma's dharma, then anatmata syat. Then what will happen? Anatmatva will go to Atma. Means Atma will become subject to modifications like pot, ghatavat. Therefore, Atma Sakshi is Nirvikara. It does not have Jatyadi Dharma. It does not have any karma. Because of my abhimana, I am told I have to do all the karmas. Then I am subject to all samsara and punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. This cycle continues. When I understand I am Sakshi and not have physical body identification, then alone I am free. Okay? With this, fifth shloka is complete. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.